Hey there, this is Cheryl with Sew, Glue, and Cheryl 2. If you're catching this part, likely you're catching the replay. As you come in, say hi. If you see the red live at the top, that means that you are catching me live. We are in an event, so we have to come in a couple minutes early. So while I'm waiting for to be shared into the group, let me share myself out so that I can also get my comments up. Get myself shared out. I just lost my mouse. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I got it awful bright in here, and sometimes when I move my mouse, I can't see where my mouse went. So we're going to share myself out into a few places to kind of help the cause, get the viewers, and then we will wait for the signal, and then we can get moving on. Okay. There is one more group I wanted to share myself out to. Just trying to find it. Sorry, it's taken me a minute. There we go. Okay. All righty. Oh, thank you, Gia. Hi, Chris. Welcome in. How are you today? It's good to see you. Real quick, oh, there goes. Hopefully you guys can't hear the dog. Dog's going a little wackadoo because we had somebody here, a friend of ours that is fixing my son's car. And so just taking a second here and trying to get myself shared out. Sorry. I think my internet is like extremely slow today. Not normally like that. Hi, Yadi. Welcome in. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that, Yadi. So we are in an event today. We are in Creative Crafters Assemble. The theme of it is Beach Bliss Bash. So it's beach themed, of course. Fun. I was so excited. We started out at 2 p.m. Eastern today with Tamara with Crafty Fox Creations. She started kind of making what looked to be like a book cover, and had different layers where the word beach it was pretty cool. And then we got to see Renee with Rustic Daisies DIY with Renee, and Renee did a wood thing that was beach themed as well. I think she had a wood kit that she was working on. I had a meeting, so I didn't get a chance to watch her fully, but she was on, and I sprinkled her out, and I did all the stuff to try to help everybody out. And then after her was Gia with Gia Creations, and Gia is our hostess with the mostest, as we were talking earlier in one of the chats. She is our admin, and she is just out there working hard to help us in the event. Oh, now you're working? Good. I'm glad to hear that, Yadi. Hi, Tamara. Just before me was Crafting Barefoot with Sharon, and she was doing a shell kind of in a shape of a tree. So it was like a shell Christmas tree. which was actually really kind of cool. Then now I'm up. Cheryl with Sew Glue and Cheryl too. And then after me is Yachty with Yachty's Workshop. So stay tuned because we're not finished. I am not the last one. But what I'm going to do is I have had this kind of pulled together for a long time. And I decided that this was the perfect opportunity because it was beach themed. So I had this frame that I picked up at the thrift store, and I paid $1. I'm sorry, I would have proved it, but I scraped off the the sticker so that I could, because my intent is that I'm going to use this as a frame. So but I'm going to decorate it, and I have a bunch of these bags from what used to be the dollar store. No longer the dollar store, Dollar Tree. I think this one says I paid $1.25 for them. But I just grabbed several different bags because they had a variety of different shells in them. These are prettier shells than what you can get at most beaches nowadays, unless you live in Florida. And I live a long way from Florida. Stay toned. What do you mean, camera? Thank you for sprinkling, though. I appreciate it. So I just grabbed those bags, and I wanted to decorate the frame because my husband, my son, and I had an opportunity a couple years back to go to, we went to Cancun, and we have this really cool picture of the three of us having our feet in the sand with the water kind of coming up onto the sand and washing over our feet. And so I have that picture and I want to put it in the frame, but I want to decorate the frame in that beachy kind of theme frame. So I have some shells. I have some sea glass, different colors. So I don't know, we're going to get a little creative and tuned. Tuned. Gotcha. Thank you. So we're going to decorate this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think, kind of dry brush the frame a little bit with some sand colors, and I don't have any sand colors, so we're going to make a sand color. So I have Apple Barrel Antique White, and then I have Apple Barrel Nutmeg. And so we're going to just kind of mix a little bit on this paper plate, make a kind of a tonal color that is brown or sand colors. So we're going to do that. But has anybody else managed have you guys been to Cancun or any other cool location in Mexico? We've done a few. Done Cancun, done Puerto Vallarta, and I've done Cabo. Those are the 3 that I've done so far. And I had never been to Mexico other than Tijuana before I was married. So my lovely husband is the doer and seer of all things, and he just wanted to go, and so he said, let's take you to Mexico. So we did. We did that a couple years ago, and then last year we had an opportunity because it was our 25th wedding anniversary, and so we had an opportunity to go to Antigua. So we went for our 25th anniversary to Antigua, and I'm finding I'm really liking the beach. You've been on a few cruises that have kind of gone around or stopped in Mexico? Speaking of cruises, I know Sharon was talking about going to, that they just got back from an Alaskan cruise. And ironically enough, my husband and I were just talking about maybe that's something that we would like to do. I've been to Alaska. My best friend / roommate before I got married, and I lived together, and her father lives in Alaska. And so one year he invited us to come and visit him. So I spent I would say we spent like 3 weeks. 3 weeks in Alaska. And he lives outside of Homer, Alaska, which is, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been there, but I remember it was a bit of a drive from Anchorage. We flew into Anchorage, and then he picked us up there and drove us to where he lived. And he owns a restaurant bar in that area, or outside of Homer, I guess. And so we stayed there. But I remember from that that summer stay, it was like, man, those mosquitoes were big. And I happen to be largely allergic to mosquito bites. So I get some big old welts and what have you. But so I didn't spend tons of time outside unless I was covered up. Okay, so I am going to try to do a little bit of just blending, dry brushing with some lights and darks to give it a little depth. And not have brush strokes. That's the hardest thing, is when you're trying to do that. Okay. I think I probably need to do the sides here. So this is kind of where we're at. You can see it's kind of got some sand tone colors. So I'm going to do the edges, and then we'll get it dried and we'll start gluing. So you're planning one as well, Alaska cruise for next summer. Yeah, he is just aching to go somewhere. We're scheduled to go back to Antigua in 2028. Because we love it there. It's a wonderful place to visit. But it's expensive, so you have to kind of save up your money to be able to do that, and some of those other options. But it's even more expensive to go to Antigua because it's just the cost of flights. And if you go, you want to stay long enough to make it worth your while, because it is quite a trek. It was supposed to be, when we first flew there, it was supposed to be an 18-hour flight. Well, we were flying in May, and there happened to be storms, tornado watches, warnings, all of the lovely stuff that you don't want when you're in an airplane. No cruises for you, Chris? Oh, big bodies of water. You've always been that way, kind of just afraid of those. Yeah. I get seasick. So I have some really strange things, and I'll tell you about that. But let me finish my story about the trip to Antigua. We were supposed to fly through Dallas to get to Miami, And then we were going to stay the night in Miami and catch the next morning a flight out to go to Antigua. And we couldn't go through Texas because they were having that storm. So the airlines rerouted us we ended up having to stay in the airport for 6 or 7 hours and ended up having to catch a flight that was a red eye to New York. And so as you can imagine, from Idaho, we flew all the way to New York overnight, got there into New York at 7:00 New York time. By that time, it was like 4:00 our time. I mean, we were exhausted. Sat in the airport for about an hour or so, got on the flight then from New York to Antigua. Had to bypass Florida altogether as well, just because that's how the flights worked out. It was exhausting. By the time we got there, all we wanted to do was go to bed. So we ended up like taking a nap, and then we went out to the pool and spent the day at the pool. And some of us went to the pool early and took a nap at the pool. So, but yes. Back to Chris's note about large parties. You know, I have a concern about doing a cruise, which people are telling me, you're nuts, you're crazy, you don't need to worry about it. But I get seasick. Now, if I'm on a smaller body of water and like we used to have a surf boat, I can do that okay and not get seasick, because I can look out at the water, I can see, the horizon, I can do all that. I used to live in Seattle, Washington, where you would have to take a ferry to get across to one of the other islands. And so I would get on a ferry, and it didn't matter if I was on the ferry looking out at the horizon or whatever, it was too rough. I got seasick. Had an opportunity to go to Hawaii for my honeymoon and did a catamaran, got seasick. So I'm worried about, because I've never been on a cruise, about getting seasick, because the last thing I want to do is spend my vacation sick. So, but my husband says it's not like that. You don't feel it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of like a skeptic. We'll see how it goes. You suffer from vertigo? Yeah. I do too. It's not vertigo in the mean, so I have a vestibular loss in my right ear. And that happened about, I think I was 48 years old when that happened. And I was hospitalized for it, with that vestibular loss. And for six months, I had to go through therapy, after being hospitalized, to learn how to walk again, because after having the vestibular loss, your sense of balance is gone. And so you have to, hi Lisa, welcome in. So you have to learn to walk again with a whole new balance. And so I had therapy for like the longest time in learning how to walk. And still at times, if I roll over in bed, I'll kind of spin, but they've given me all the tools and the techniques to be able to kind of stop the spinning. But ask my daughter my doctor for the patch. Yeah, I've heard about that, and then I've heard there's a all natural solution that is an option to the Dramamine. So, but I don't want to. I'm trying to avoid that too, because of the fact that I don't want to be like feeling groggy all the time. And that Dramamine does that. That's why I won't take that. Yes, it was. But, you know, out of it came, there was good that came out of it. I got an opportunity to get to know some really fabulous people that were handling my rehab and the people in the hospital. And believe it or not, we got an opportunity to kind of minister to some of those people who didn't necessarily weren't necessarily churched, if you will. So I think that happened for a reason. Oh, that's not good, is it? Okay, so now that we are dry, I am going to, so I think I have my hot glue gun standing by. It is not warmed up, but I think what I am going to try to do is to use the 3-in-1, my Beacon 3-in-1, because I think in trying to lay out the shells and then glue them on the edges, I don't want to burn myself. So let's see. I'll just flip the plate over and let's see what we've got as far as shells go to play with. So, you know, it is something that I still kind of deal with. It's every once in a while, if I move my head too fast or something like that, I get a little dizzy, but nothing that I can't live with. All right. There's actually some really, well, you probably can't see it now because of but there's some really, sorry, it's on my paper plate that's got dried paint on it, and I just dropped a shell down there, but we'll have to get that one later but I thought maybe we could kind of play with putting some of these shells around. I think, hopefully you guys can see. Okay, oh, there's one more. I thought we would lay them out and then we could see. And these are really kind of cool. I don't know if these are real or not. They kind of look real, but I mean, has anybody ever seen a green shell like that? Kind of looks like maybe a snail type of shell. I don't know if I want to go with those bright greens or not. Those are kind of bright. If we lay out some shell here, let's do these in the opposite corners. Do we do them that way or do we do them this way? This is now just a matter of, it's going to be kind of like a Jenga puzzle. Oh, hi, Sib. Welcome in. We are in an event today. We are in Creative Crafters Assemble, and we are doing a theme called Beach Bliss Bash. And so we are just kind of playing with some shells to see how we would lay down. Okay. And I do have a bunch of shell pieces, which it's another bag from the dollar store, but we'll see. Maybe we put some bigger pieces of, no, I don't like it there. Let's do it here. Bigger pieces, and we'll glue it down. Okay. Hold on just a second. The dog is going crazy. I know you guys can't hear it. I'm sorry I have to walk away. Let me go answer the door, and I'll be right back. I am sorry. Okay, I am so sorry. The dogs go crazy. The husband left. The son's not anywhere to be found, and somebody's standing at the door wanting to sell me bug pesticide stuff. But the dog goes crazy, so I am so sorry. I hate doing that, but all right. Oh, is Boom? Hi, Boom. Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Sorry about that. I had to step away for a minute. Man, I hate that, but because the dog won't stop barking when somebody's knocking on the door and pounding, and it's just like, it drives me insane. So, all right, so here we go. Let's glue some things down. I think I'm going to use the Beacon 3-in-1. We'll start kind of gluing pieces down, and we can kind of start seeing how things fit together. And they don't sit very well, but we'll see if we can't kind of get them glued on the frame. So yeah, we are in discussions. We're in discussions about possibly going to Alaska for a cruise. If we do it, it'll probably not be until August, because my husband just started a new job, and he is on a 90-day, they give him like a 90-day probation kind of thing. So he can't take any time off until after that. So his probation will be up sometime in July. So we thought maybe we could go. We could go in August. He also has to go back to Hawaii to finish some things that he had started when he went on mission trip. So we're not quite sure how that's going to work out. And so we'll, it's all to be determined. But all right, so I've got some sea glass that I've glued down. I'll glue some of these almost look fake. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell if they're really truly Let's see. I think maybe I want that one laying like that, but I wish that I could find some of these cool shells like on a beach. I've heard that there are some really neat beaches in Florida where you can get some cool shells. But I have, the only time I've been in Florida was the one time on the way back from Antigua in the Miami airport. So I have really not been in Florida before. So that's another bucket list item that I want to do, is I would love to go to Florida. I like the beach. And I think if I were like rich, I would probably buy a house somewhere on the beach so that I could travel to it. I like where I live here. It's nice, but I think I really would like living by a beach. What about you all? Hi, Sharon. Welcome in. If you had a choice to live somewhere, would it be the beach or the mountains? I know Sib's answer would be the mountains. She lives there now. Thank you for sprinkling, Sharon. I appreciate that. Absolutely. I would have to live at the beach. What about you guys? If you had a choice, mountains or beach? Maybe Sib's answer would surprise me. Oh, hi, Rona. Welcome in. Lisa says the beach. She doesn't like the cold. Well, I don't blame you. I don't mind the cold. Here in Idaho, it's not a wet, it's like a dry cold. So it's not a wet cold. So I don't mind it so much, but if I had my choice, I'd still like the beach. So I agree. And if, by the way, come in and comment, say hi, let me know you're here, because what I'll do after my live is I'll go through the comments, and whoever has commented, I will put your name in for a Happy Mail drawing. And I will send you some Happy Mail. You're a Flatlander, Sharon? You like the plains. Rona says you'd like to move back to the Highlands of Scotland. Oh. You don't like the heat? Well, how hot does it get? It doesn't get that hot, does it? In England? I have never been to Scotland. I have been to England, but I have never been to Scotland. And that's another trip where my husband will have to go back possibly next year, in 2027, to go visit the factory with the factory of the product that he reps. And so we are in conversation about going to the UK, but that's about a year off. So yeah, you like the plains, huh? Oh, well, I grew up in Illinois, so I'm not so fond. I'm not so fond. Let's see. I'm just kind of sticking things down and seeing if they look good. We're gluing them down. We're just gluing them down. I had yesterday I had an event, and I took it was a different theme, but I had some shells from Antigua, and I put them on a glass. I used a frame again, but I used the resin to set the glass and the shells in, and it turned out so cute. I was super excited. So I have it hanging on the wall with the rest of my beach themed stuff. So I was super excited. So yeah, we've got lots of things. Always got plans, you know. And my husband's the same way. He's like, we've worked hard all of the years. He even came out of retirement. He used to be a handyman. Kind of came out of retirement because we wanted to get to a point where we could pay off like the house and some of the other debt, and then we can start enjoying and traveling when we retire. Most people don't understand. To me, there's nothing like a sunrise and a sunset when you can see forever. The sunset at the beach is beautiful too. Yeah, no, I get that. You can see far distances. I mean, you could do that in Illinois too. You just have to look over a cornstalk or two, you know. I'm just joking. You do, but in Illinois, I grew up in Illinois, and I am not a big fan of Illinois any longer. I don't like the humidity, and it's not the same anymore. It's just when I was growing up there, it was a dream, because I played in the woods and in the cornfields until dark. But you can't even do that anymore. When I go back to visit, it's like everybody is like locks everything up. And you don't see the kids playing in the streets when I grew up, like back then when I grew up. And it's really kind of sad. We don't have the kids playing in the streets here either. Well, I take that back. Actually, we do. We do have some of the kids. They ride their bikes up and down the street. They ride their little scooter things. And they do play. They do play, but they don't play until midnight, or till it was dark, like I used to as a kid. But, you know, I think those days are probably gone just because we have such wicked people out there in this world. All right, so let's see if I can hold it up. All right. So this is kind of it's kind of turning out like a multi-colored beach theme. It's got sea glass and different shells. And then maybe in between, if I have just a bunch of these small shells I can kind of sprinkle around. But let's see what else we can do. No, that one's awful big. Let's see. Maybe we'll put that one there. It's kind of just like a little puzzle. Gluing some puzzles together. All right. So did anybody answer me? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rona. Oh, hi, Tasha. Welcome in. So you don't have kids? Hold on just a second. I have to scroll back up to find that. I started to read it and it went down. Yeah. Traffic with the cars. Yeah. I believe it. Yeah, they can't kind of play on the streets, but we have sidewalks in our neighborhood, so they're able to kind of ride their bikes in the sidewalks unless they're with their parents, and then if they're bike riding with their parents, then they ride in the street, but they don't until. Oh, that would look fabulous hanging in a bathroom. Well, I'm going to put the picture of our feet in the sand with the water coming up. So, yeah, my bathroom is not beachy themed though. Thank you, Tasha. I appreciate you sprinkling. So today we are if you just joined us, we are in an event called Beach Bliss Bash with Creative Crafters Assemble. And Gia is our hostess with the mostess. And so thank you for having me, Gia. And we are just kind of using I've had this set aside because it's a craft I wanted to do. And I thought, bingo, now is the time to do it. Hi, Carla. Welcome in. Thank you for sprinkling. So right now, I took a white frame and I kind of colored it, painted it with the kind of sand color, and then we're gluing some sea glass and some different shells in. Now the shells are not shells that I picked up. I did pick them up, but I picked them up at the Dollar Tree for not $1. Yeah, just so you know. Oh yeah, the power. Are you still having the electrical storms, or is that kind of all getting sorted out? Carla girl. All right. So we're going to glue. I think I'm going to find a few more. Hi, Christina. Welcome in. You're icing the shoulder. Good for you. Good for you. You did your exercises. Fantastic. I am so glad to hear that. We're always looking for a positive day. All right. So I'm going to see about sticking some. And this is just, I did not pre-plan this. I am just kind of going willy-nilly and sticking things here and there and everywhere. It came back on and then went out in the morning. Oh, well, at least you got it for the night, right? But doggone, yeah, I would be frustrated too. All right, so I do have some little shells that I have left over from Antigua. So maybe I'll put those in here as well. Let me glue this little one. I'm getting glue all over my fingers. And up after me is Yachty with Yachty's Workshop. So if you're in the Creative Crafters Assemble event group, it's a free group, you can join and you can there you go. Okay. Thank you guys for talking to each other. I love it. So it's a free group. You can join without having to be approved. And then all you have to do is refresh your screen, and then Yachty will pop up. You won't have to go searching for Yachty. That ought to be a new theme. Search for Yachty. Where is Yachty? Okay. I'm going to use just some of these little, I have like 3 or 4 of them left. And I'm going to use them to kind of fill in some of the spots where the awkward shapes are. Storms are coming on and off. Well, yuck. I hate this time of the year. Yeah, Yachty, did you probably worked today too. You had a full day of work. I did too, but I don't chase little ones. I deal with adult-sized babies. My customers have a tendency to be babies sometimes. When something's not working right, they are big babies. All right, let me kind of filling in just some of the gaps here and there. And as I fill them in, I'm just going to give the glue a chance to dry for a minute. Let's see, where are we at on time? Okay, we have 15 minutes left. Okay, so while we are waiting for some of the glue to dry, and I finish kind of gluing some sea glass and shells down, do we have prayer? I do know tomorrow I have you down because your husband had his stroke, and so I have him down for prayers. I don't know what his first name is, but I will keep him in my prayers. And let's see, who else did I have? Do I have other prayer requests? Some of you, most people I was listening to as much as I could when I didn't have meetings. So I was trying to catch who had prayer requests. So if you have, please share. Okay. They're chatting amongst themselves. Yep. So, I'm gonna glue a few more in here. Yeah, with storms. Okay. Well, Carla, and anybody else in the line of the storms? I got it down. Thank you. Yes, that they stay safe. Absolutely. Yeah, man, it doesn't matter if they're electrical or, man, you never know when a tornado will pop up. And it's just, I have grown up in Illinois, and man, I have a serious fear of tornadoes. Let me tell you. If you haven't ever heard the story, I think I can share it pretty quickly. When I was, had to have been 10, 11 years old, my 2 sisters and I were home. So there's 3 of us. So and because I was the oldest, my mom had just started going back to work. It was summer, and so I was kind of babysitting or watching my sisters to help my mom out, and my dad, because there was like a time frame where my mom would go to work and then my dad would come home. So it was only a few hours. It wasn't like an all day thing. It was a few hours. And they had kind of taught me, being the oldest, what to do if there was a tornado. And at that point in time, what you did, they had trained us, was you go and you open up all of the windows. And of course, we had a basement, so we could go down into a special space in the basement that was the right corner for our tornado. And so I managed to get my sisters to get downstairs. And then I, being the adult at that point in time, I did what my mom and dad normally do. So one of my parents would go with us down and the other would stay up and open up the windows. And then they would actually stand on the back porch and kind of watch to see if a tornado was coming that direction. It's not super far from the back porch down to the basement. So there was never, I think, any concern about not being able to get down to the basement fast enough if a tornado were coming. But I, thinking I was the adult, was standing on the back patio, or the back porch. It's glassed in, right? I know, wasn't too smart, but I was mimicking what I had seen my parents do. And I was watching out the windows to see, and we must have been, I don't know, like in the eye of the tornado or something. And there was a washer and a dryer that flew by in the air. It flew through the trees and landed across the street from our house in the neighbor's front yard. And I was like, I'm out. And I ran downstairs and I stayed there until they blew the siren and let us know that it was okay to come back up. Fortunately for us, the tornado did not hit down in any of the areas. The wind blew like a garage down kind of behind us. And then outside of town, there used to be a movie theater, and it tore up the movie theater, a drive-in movie theater, if you know what I'm talking about. They used to have those things. Well, they tore the screen and the whole parking lot and everything up. So we no longer had a drive-in movie theater at that point. But yes, it was not the smartest thing to do, but you know, at 10 or 11 years old, when you're mimicking your parents, you don't realize the stupid things that they even did, and they were the bad examples. Yes, I know, Carla. I know. You just want to put your hand in your head and say, really? Really? But yes. So I have a fear. I have that fear to this day. It creates some serious anxiety. Yeah, it was terrifying. 9 minutes to go. Okay, thank you, Gia. All right, and so if you said a prayer request and I didn't acknowledge that I wrote it down, please go ahead and write it. Here in a few minutes, we'll say a prayer over anything, any topic you need. If you need healing prayers, I'm here for that. All right. Ooh, that was a big glob of glue. Yeah, but please, because I felt bad in one of my lives. The comments were scrolling so much I didn't see everybody's prayer requests. And so I want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody. If you have a prayer request, that you're typing it so that I can write it down and actually pray for it, because I don't want to have anybody feel neglected or missed. from that perspective. So I do have a few holes, and so I think probably after this dries, then I'll pull out some of these small, and they're just like little pieces and slivers, and some of them are kind of have that reflective pearlescence on it, and I'll put those on a few of the spots that kind of have holes. But this is where we're at. Here, let me put this glue away before I make a mess. All right. So here is where we're at. I've got the sea glass and the shells, and then as soon as I grab the picture, I may have to, I don't know if it's a 5x7 or a 3x5, but I'll have to figure out if it's a 3x5 or a 5x7, and then what I will do is put it in there and maybe put it, take a picture of it with the actual picture in it, because I think that will make it, you know what I mean? All right. Your dad took your son to see the movie Twister? So you got home. Oh, it was poor cow, poor cow. Oh yeah. I know, I've seen that movie, the Twister, and I am like, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rona. Thank you, Carla. Alrighty. I just want to make sure I got all of the comments here real quick. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I see that the comment that Yada, you worked all day and you were chasing the littles. Yeah. I did see the movie Twister, and you know, I think that probably was the first and last time I was going to see it. Creates too much anxiety. You know what I mean? Oh, heaven's sakes. All right. All right. So if there aren't any other prayer requests, so what I will do at the end here is those who have commented, I will write your name down. I'll put them in a bowl and do a drawing, and I will do a post, and I will actually reach out and notify you directly via messenger if you won. And I will either collect your address at that point, or if I happen to have it, then I will send it to you in the mail. All right, so let's go ahead and let's bow our heads in prayer, and we're gonna just pray for some healing and pray for some intervention in this weather, and that everyone stays safe. So if you will, please bow your heads with me. We'll pray. We'll close in prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you. We just give you the glory and the gratitude for having this time together, to having this fellowship of crafters, Lord. And we thank you for having such a wonderful event groups to be able to participate in and get a chance to spend time with our friends, Lord. And we just give you the glory for the opportunity to actually be able to craft as well, Lord. And we come to you in some petition prayers, Lord. We have a healing prayer that we are asking for, Lord, with Tamara's husband. He has had some strokes, or it sounds like more than one stroke, Lord. And you know what his needs are. And we just ask that you repair that part of the brain that was affected by the strokes, Lord. And we just ask that you lift Tamara up as she is to become the chauffeur for all things, and that puts a lot of stress on marriage, Lord. And we just ask that you lift the two of them up to you and ask for that healing and special blessings over that family, Lord. And Lord, there have been some pretty wicked storms going on in the Midwest, in the Southwest, in the South, the Mid-South, whatever you want to call those areas. There's been some really terrible storms, Lord, and we just ask for some divine intervention. We ask that you detour the storms back to the water, or if there does need to be storms, Lord, we just ask that you protect each and every house, every person, every piece of property that might be in the way of the storms, Lord, that everybody stays safe. And Lord, we just ask that you restore the services back as soon as possible. And we just ask all of this in your loving, graceful name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So we have just a minute, so probably just enough time for you to refresh your screen and go over, because Yachty is probably live right about now. And we will see you again soon, my friends. God bless. I love every one of you. Have a good night.